It's Monday, May 31st, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. The Democratic Labour Party is seeking answers about the now squashed controversial tourism slogan, Little Island, Big Barbados. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, in another section of the media, revealed that the recently touted brand had been dropped and a committee called the Destination Barbados Reboot panel had been set up to come up with a new slogan, among other things. The announcement came amid a barrage of criticism from the opposition parties and to the public about the brand, which is said to have been used in other destinations. In an interview with Barbados Today, DLP President Furla de Pisa queried whether anyone will be held accountable and whether the public purse will be refunded.
We still haven't had certain questions answered, like if anyone is going to be held accountable. Although I suppose obliquely the Prime Minister answered that by saying, I know that there are some who will call for someone to be held accountable. That seems to be an offhanded way of saying no. But she very neatly sidestepped the issue of a refund. Are we getting back our money? We need to know this. We've scrapped it, but it is $500,000 that we scrapped. And since it is not Monopoly that we're playing and we're actually dealing with the money of the people of Barbados, there has to be an accounting to the people of Barbados in relation to that money.
DPs also questioned the size of the new panel and whether they are being paid.
Once again, there's this element of overkill by putting 18 persons on the panel. And I scanned the list. I can't tell, but if they could clear up for us whether there is a marketing specialist among them, because we wouldn't want to make the same mistakes again. Let us, yes, have the industry have an input. I think that is an excellent idea, but then how we market it also has, and sometimes it is phraseology, just how we put it across, that matters too. So we need to have that accounting to the people of Barbados. Tell us if we're getting the money back, and in relation to this rather large committee, are they being paid? Is there really any need for it to be that big? And is there a marketing specialist amongst them?
Opposition leader Bishop Joseph Atherley and his People's Party for Democracy and Development has urged former hotel workers agitating for outstanding severance pay not to give up. On Sunday, the PDP held a meeting for the former workers at the Queen's Park Steel Shed.
We're here because you are a worker, because you have rights, and these rights include benefits due to you, not only management, not only to foreign interests, not only to people of a specific ethnic hue or color, but to the majority black working community and working class in this country. You have rights, which includes benefits, and you also have the right of protest. So let nobody intimidate you. Let nobody frighten you. There is a culture of a sense of intimidation in Barbados that we have to be rid of. We are here because injustice to workers in this country has been too often ignored, and in fact it has been institutionalized. It has become part of the culture. Workers in this country are second-class citizens. Those who have money and capital, both domestic, Barbadian, and those who are foreign, are the privileged few. Workers are second-class citizens in their own country. The only people who can change that, it is a small start today, but the only people who can change that is you. We're here today because investment interests too often take priority over working class interests in Barbados. So man has a few dollars to invest, so all of a sudden he's a special person, especially if he wears a certain color. But you and me, poor working class mob in Barbados, are not considered to be a priority.
Police are investigating a shooting incident which occurred last night where 2 men were injured. The injuries are not life-threatening. According to police spokesman Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, the shooting occurred at the Grotto near Dalkeith St. Michael around 7:55 p.m. The victims, both men ages 21 and 29, were among a group liming at a bus stop when they were fired upon by 2 unknown men who were passing by before they fled the scene. The 21-year-old was shot in his left leg, while the other man was injured in his right leg. They were transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance for treatment. Residents continue to come forward to get vaccinated against COVID-19 under the National Vaccination Program. So far, 77,946 people have been inoculated against the virus. Of that number, 60,443 people, that's 24,847 males and 35,596 females, have been fully vaccinated. Co-coordinator of the program, Major David Clark, revealed that the first doses received from India have been used and health officials have begun using the vaccines received through the COVAX facility.
We've done about 95% of the people who got the first doses out of the donation of vaccines from India. And we have actually done a percentage of the doses under the first COVAX facility. And of course, we will be starting the second doses for those next week as well. So every 8 weeks, basically, we will be doing second doses for whoever we did the 8 weeks before. The issue is we have to be able to service the demand. It's like anything. We only have so many vaccines, so we have to service the demand for those and until we get more vaccines.
2 males and 3 females are the latest cases of COVID-19 in Barbados. The 5 new cases recorded on Saturday were identified from the 513 tests conducted by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory. Those new cases bring to 4,017 total recorded cases of COVID-19 in the country. Those comprise of 1,942 females and 2,075 males. There are currently 41 people in isolation. 47 people have died as a result of the virus.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, Trinidad and Tobago's Police Commissioner Gary Griffith warns that lawmen will be out in their full numbers during the country's 2 bank holidays this week. The top cop made it clear that only critical essential workers will be allowed to be on the streets after the holiday curfews kick in at 10 a.m. today. More in this TV6 News report.
The Commissioner says his men will be out in full force on both public holidays. He states that only critical essential workers, either on their way to or from work, will be allowed on the roads during the extended curfew. These workers include the media, private security, healthcare workers, sea and airport personnel, and those in the energy sector. The Commissioner further advises that persons seeking urgent medical treatment or with critical care appointments, such as dialysis treatment, or those attending already scheduled funerals, should explain to officers where they are going. He says his men have been told to accommodate persons in such circumstances. Commissioner Griffith also states that he has briefed all officers who will be conducting road exercises on Monday and Thursday to ticket, charge, or clear persons on a case-by-case basis.
And finally, police are asking for the public's help in finding those responsible for the brazen shooting at a Florida club early Sunday, which resulted in the deaths of at least 2 people. Some 20 more were wounded. More in this CBS News report.
Police are looking for the 3 men who jumped out of a Nissan Pathfinder at this strip mall, armed with assault rifles and handguns, and fired into the crowd of concertgoers, leaving more than 20 injured and 2 dead. The injured were rushed to several hospitals. Chet Harris was among the stunned parents, his 19-year-old daughter one of the wounded.
My daughter ended up getting shot in the middle of this. Words can't explain how I feel right now. This is a sad moment.
This type of gun violence has to stop. Every weekend it's the same thing. This is targeted. This is definitely not random.
For police, it's a worrying reminder that the nation returning to normal from the pandemic means violence like this returns too.
It's very disheartening, but it's a trend that you're seeing around the country.
On Face the Nation, Miami Police Chief Art Acevedo warned of a violent summer and urged lawmakers to act.
And we need the federal government and both sides to address this issue, because without legislation and without certainty as it relates to holding these criminals accountable, we're never going to get through this summer.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.